The greatest battle is not fought on battlefields, it's fought inside your head. You can conquer the world, but if you lose control of your mind, you'll still be a slave. This is the story of a boy named Russell, who discovered that mastering his mind was the key to mastering his life. Have you ever sat down to work, only for your mind to drag you elsewhere? You tell yourself you'll focus, but 5 minutes later, you're scrolling, daydreaming, or drowning in random thoughts. That was Russell. He was intelligent, ambitious, and full of dreams. He wanted to make his parents proud, to succeed, to rise above his small-town limits. But his greatest enemy wasn't the world, it was his own mind. Whenever he tried to study, his thoughts wandered. His eyes stared at the page, but his mind sprinted away thinking about cricket, friends, games, money, and everything except the present moment. The moment he sat to work, his phone would buzz. One notification became 5 minutes, 5 minutes became 30, and before he knew it, the day had vanished, swallowed by distractions. At night, guilt whispered to him in the dark, "Why can't you focus? Why can't you control yourself? Maybe you'll never succeed." Russell didn't lack intelligence, he lacked control. His mind felt like a wild horse dragging him across the fields of distraction, and he couldn't find the reins. One morning, fed up with himself, Russell walked away from home without breakfast. He followed the sound of the river until he reached its bank. There, beneath a giant banyan tree, sat an old monk in silence. His eyes were closed, his breathing deep, his presence calm as if the chaos of the world couldn't touch him. Something about that peace drew Russell closer. "Master," he said softly, "I need help." The monk opened his eyes, gentle, unshaken, like still water. "What troubles you, my child?" Russell's words poured out. "I want to succeed, to study, to make something of myself, but my mind doesn't listen to me. It jumps everywhere. I feel like I'm fighting a war I can't win." The monk nodded, saying nothing. Then he picked up a clay cup, filled it with water, and handed it to Russell. "Walk around the temple 3 times, he said. "But don't spill even a single drop." Confused, Russell obeyed. He held the cup carefully with both hands and began walking. Every step was slow. Every breath was steady. His eyes stayed locked on the trembling surface of the water. By the time he finished, not a single drop had spilled. Proudly, he said, "Master, I did it." The monk smiled. "Good. Now tell me, while you were walking, did you notice the birds singing, the villagers talking, the wind in the trees?" Russell frowned. "No, master, I didn't notice anything. I was too focused on the water." The monk leaned forward and whispered, "That, my child, is the secret. You controlled your attention, and when you did, the distractions lost their power. That's how you control your mind." For the first time in his life, Russell understood. The battle wasn't outside, it was inside. The noise wasn't around him, it was within him. That night, Russell couldn't sleep. The monk's words echoed again and again. Control your attention. Control your mind. The next morning he decided to test himself. He sat down to study. For 10 minutes, his focus was sharp. But then, his phone buzzed. His hand reached out automatically, but he stopped. He remembered the glass of water. He placed the phone aside and forced his attention back to the book. It was difficult. His thoughts screamed for escape, like wild horses kicking against the gate, but he didn't give in. 15 minutes became 20. 20 became an hour. Each time his mind strayed, he pulled it back again and again. It wasn't easy. Some days he failed. Some days he triumphed. There were mornings he woke motivated, and nights when frustration drowned him, but he never quit. He told himself, "If I give up, my mind wins. If I persist, I win." Slowly, the wild horse inside him began to obey. He made new rules. No phone while studying. Wake up before sunrise, when the world was still silent. Write down his goals every morning and commit to them. Day by day, his focus grew stronger. His thoughts no longer pulled him apart. People began to notice. "Russell, you've changed," his friends teased. "You've become so serious, don't you ever get bored?" He smiled and replied, "I used to be a prisoner of my mind. Now, I'm free." He wasn't perfect, distractions still came, but now he had the power to choose. Instead of being dragged by his thoughts, he directed them, and with that control came progress. He completed tasks that once terrified him. He learned faster, remembered more, and achieved goals he once thought impossible. Months later, Russell returned to the same riverbank. The monk sat there as before, peaceful, eternal, untouched by time. Russell bowed deeply. "Master," he said, "I understand now. My mind used to control me, but now I'm learning to control it. And because of that, I feel stronger, calmer, freer." The monk smiled. "Remember, Russell, the mind is like fire. Left uncontrolled, it burns everything in its path. But when mastered, that same fire can cook your food, warm your home, and light your way through darkness. Those words carved themselves into Russell's soul. He finally realized that success, peace, and happiness were never hidden in the world outside. They were buried within, beneath the noise of an untamed mind. From that day on, whenever distractions tried to tempt him, Russell whispered to himself, "I am the master of my mind. My mind is not the master of me." He carried that truth through every challenge, every success, every quiet moment of doubt. Because once you learn to control your thoughts, you gain control over your destiny. Your mind can be your greatest prison or your greatest power. It can chain you or free you. It can destroy you or build the life you've always dreamed of. So ask yourself, who's in control right now, you or your wandering mind? The world's greatest weapon is not strength, nor wealth, nor luck. It's focus, the ability to guide your mind where you want it to go. Master your attention, and you master your life. Let your thoughts run wild, and they'll steal your peace, your time, and your dreams. The battle for greatness begins the moment you choose to take control. If this story inspired you, don't just listen, practice. Start small, sit with your thoughts, focus for 10 minutes, build your control, one quiet moment at a time, because the mind you master today will create the life you live tomorrow. If you felt something in Russell's story, subscribe, stay inspired, and keep growing. Your journey to mastery begins now inside your own mind.